Hey, Coach.
Zach.
How do you feel like the team sort of handled and balanced excitement and sort of their focus today after having yesterday's practice off and only one day to go before travel day?
I think it was a very eager focus out there. I think and like I said, credit to them, our players, credit to probably every college football player out there for what they've endured this year to get to game week. And I think this team likes to play, likes to be on the football field together. Um, what I know is I can't guarantee any wins, but I can guarantee that we'll fight, and that gives us a chance.
And on the depth chart, Billy Posbasil was listed at the number 2 receiver behind Travell at the H. What has he sort of done well through fall camp, and what does he bring to this offense?
Um, Short area quickness. I think he's got deceiving speed. Um, he makes a lot of catches with his hands. I know that sounds funny, but he has confidence in his hands. A lot of body catchers don't always have that. So I think he's just kind of had his head down, working, and it has really taken to the offense pretty well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, if you have a question for Coach Rolovich, please raise your hand and we'll get you guys called upon. All right, Cody, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, looking at when you played Oregon State last year, you were able to beat them, through the air with a lot of work from Cole McDonald, not a lot on the ground. Was that something that was just kind of how the game went, or is that a kind of strategic thing going into it? Is that how you can beat this team in this defense?
I would like to say that it was how we felt like we attacked them. I don't know that it was I don't know that we go in with, all right, we're not going to run the ball. We're going to throw on these guys. I think we look for matchups and we look for opportunities in both aspects of the offense. But I don't remember, going to the stadium thinking we're going to throw all over these guys. We try to take what the defense gives us and kind of let the offense kind of like an octopus just get into to whatever crevices they can get into and we can take advantage of.
Any other questions for Coach Rolovich? All right, Theo Lawson. Go ahead, Theo.
Is there still an ongoing battle at the second quarterback spot, and how do you kind of determine whether to use Cam or Gunner if you kind of need to go to your backup in a game this season?
I hope they're still battling. It looks like they're still battling. I feel like we could go with either one of them. I think that will be determined on somewhat how the game's going, what Oregon State is doing to us, and what each of those guys excels at and who will give us the best chance to win. We have confidence in both of them. I don't know that, it could be Cam, could be Gunner. I don't know that that's something that's – I just want to encourage them both to keep battling and improving, and that could change as the season goes on with who's playing better, who's more dialed in, things like that.
Do you think you could use both Lucas Bacon and Calvin Jackson at the X this Saturday, or will you kind of just go with one of those guys for game time?
I think we could use both. I think we could use I think Joey Hobart shows that he can play. Obviously, he hasn't played in a college football game yet, but I don't anticipate that being a negative to his competitiveness and want to. I think Billy's done. Like I said, we talked about Billy earlier. Feel like we can get it. We're just not as. I didn't realize how much of a substitution-based receiving core it has been around here. It's not necessarily been in our DNA, but also, right? What's our game condition? Do you guys need a break? I just think we got a lot of guys we feel confident with. But I don't know that there'll be some, real organized rotation that maybe everyone is used to.
All right, Brenna, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I know that obviously you're a guy that obviously specializes in the offensive side of the ball, but there was a lot of oars on that defensive depth chart. Just what is the competition been like overall over there?
Good. I think even more so on the defensive side of the ball, you'll see. I think mostly at most teams, the D line will have substitutions throughout drives. I think there's probably, if you're going to take the offensive defense, there's I bet you'll see more guys playing on defense than you do offensively, just by the nature of what we do offensively. I think that's probably the reason.
And just in particular, I saw that both corners were an oar as well. Just what has that competition been like?
Very, very high level, consistent. I think it's a talented group. I think we feel comfortable with all four of those guys for sure. And maybe matchups, maybe a lot of things can come into play, but I do think that's a group that we feel has a bunch of guys that can play for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Marissa from Spokane TV. Go ahead, Marissa.
Hey, Coach. Joe over at SWX KHQ.
Okay,
We like pulling fast ones on you here, kid. Just curious, first time the team's having the chance to travel during this pandemic. Can you kind of walk me through what that looks like protocol-wise for when the team arrives, when they leave, how they leave, and when they show up in Corvallis, so that everyone's just kind of staying, safe?
All types of precautions are put in. There's not a lot of, interaction with the outside world. There's not going to be the same amount of people on the plane. There's things are going to be completely different for them. But for what this team, I think that is a very minute thing for this team right now. They've been very, I don't want to say it, they just let stuff roll off their shoulders, and I don't think they get emotionally hijacked very much off little changes, or I don't want to call them distractions, but maybe something they're not used to. And part of it is we're not used to traveling as a group, right? Our staff and these players. So I think we got a good plan, incredible amount of precautions going in, but we still got to get on a bus. We still got to get on the plane. We get to the hotel. There's not going to be, much outside of that, to be honest with you. But I think we've filled up the time well, and being able to practice here is a little bit new for me and the guys who came from Hawaii. So really for us, it'll be a simple trip, I think.
Yeah, are you looking forward to that? I mean, when you were to Hawaii, you're traveling on a plane hours for every single road game. This is just a hop, skip, and a jump. Are you looking forward to the shorter road trip?
I'm going to miss my nap time. That was my nap time every week. When's the last time you had a nap, Joe?
I'm not a good napper, but probably about 2 weeks ago.
Whoa. How old are you?
31.
Yeah, that napping's going away, brother. That's going away. You better write that one in your diary. It's going to become less and less frequent, but no, it'll be. I'm sure it'll be different as far as probably be heading down as soon as we get up. So that'll be good.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Cody, go ahead.
Coach, we saw on the depth chart at offensive line, Jarrett Kingston and Brian Green getting those 2 open spots from last season. What did you kind of see from them this offseason that allowed them to take those spots?
I thought Brian's done a real nice job pulling everybody together and kind of being the conductor of the offense as far as box calls and the identification of stuff. I think he's really taken to that really well. And, it's not only does he do that, but, people follow him on the page that he's turned or the call that he's made. I think he's been consistent with snaps. Really attacks practice in a really determined way. He has a nice way about him of being loose, but not fool around. I think he's I think he's witty. Not that he's always joking around, but I think he's an honest young man that loves football and has probably waited for this opportunity. And I think he feels like he belongs. He should. He's had a nice training camp and game prep week. Kingston, I think, has a high level of ability. Probably is very comfortable next to a guy like Liam, a guy who's played a lot of football, and that, at some point he'll have to be that guy for somebody else. But right now, I think being sandwiched between Liam and Brian, who has a good idea, should give him some confidence. But he's a good big athlete.
And you mentioned kind of matchups earlier for that offense. Just wondering about Jamal Calvin, obviously his first game in quite a while, as well as his first game on the outside. What do you kind of expect from him in this game, maybe in terms of matchups or just what he's able to do on the field?
Well, he's got good speed. I think that is going to obviously that can cause other problems that he needs to take advantage of. But he's got short area quickness. He's longer than you think. I know I'm not sure what we list him at, but to me, he's a longer player than maybe his height would suggest. I think his speed, his hands, his savviness, I think there's a part of him, right, that I didn't even, you guys probably know all his story better than me, but it makes sense when you guys bring it up. I think he's really reveling in the opportunity to play again and is pretty excited.